Hey guys, Abby with Motor City Nerds here, and okay, I was just rewatching Stranger Things, and now I know that I've been saying that I'm worried for Steve, and I am worried for Steve. Also, ignore these flaily hairs on the back of my neck. I still have to grow my hair out from shaving it, but they're annoying me. But anyway, I've been saying I'm worried about Steve. I've been saying that I'm slightly worried about Eddie because they're slowly trying to move in this pseudo dad figure for Dustin, but then rewatching it, I was like, oh my god, what if we are all sitting here thinking that Dustin is totally safe? And what if it's really going to be Dustin that they wipe out? Just to sidewinder us. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but I'm like, no, the more I think about this, the more it could work, but I'm like, because then it would be a devastating blow to Steve and to Eddie and would give them a reason to stand and fight. I know a lot of channels have been saying it's going to be Eddie because he finally says that he's going to not run away, but I felt like him going into the Upside Down and him playing the guitar is his way of not running away. So I'm like, I don't know why, but I don't think it will be Eddie, but everything leading up to it is saying that the way that the Duffers have wrote the other seasons, there's a heavy argument to be had that it will be Eddie. I personally kept saying I think it's going to be Steve because they were trying to move Eddie into his position. They were still leaving Dustin with the pseudo dad / older brother figure. Nancy would still have. I think that that's the only part that I'm like that might keep Steve around is the fact that him and Nancy have this rekindled flame going on, but at the same time I'm like, no, I don't think they're going to leave Jonathan hanging like that. I don't. But from the past, the new person normally bites it, but I really don't think it's going to be Eddie. But then I'm like, Steve would work for a lot of characters. Nancy, Jonathan's still his friend, I guess. The kids love him. Dustin looks to him like an older brother. Like, if you took Steve out, that would really hurt the crew and would give them a reason to keep fighting all pissed off. You know what I mean? And I think that like I said, I went into season 4 thinking this was the final season. And then halfway through, they're like, oh, next season. And I'm like, next season? There's going to be a next season? And then, so that's my bad, but I'm also been living in my depression bubble. If you've been on the channel, you know this. So I'm just like coming back to the real, I'm leaving the Upside Down right now. And I'm just getting used to things again. And I'm like, oh yeah, the world exists still, doesn't it? I'm reading all these articles. I'm like, oh shit, there's a season 5, and then I'm like, no, that makes me even more nervous because now I think that several people are going to die. I think they're going to Infinity War us. Because if you have one more season, then I have to go. I think that Hopper's safe. I think Joyce could be on the chopping block. Will could be on the chopping block. Jonathan could be on the chopping block. Max, Lucas, Steve, Eddie. Like, there's a good handful of people that I'm like, that could be bad. They might not make it. The only ones that I think are totally safe are 11 and Hopper, but there is an argument to be had for Hopper. That's what I mean here. I'm just playing like devil's advocate, but I'm like, no, any of those characters would work and would give incentive to other characters to either keep fighting or, like I think with Will, I think there is some type of bad guy flip going on there. So there is a handful of characters that we could go, you could bite it and the story could work out in a good way is what I'm trying to say here. And like every time I hop to a different character, I'm like, oh no, but for some reason my gut is telling me Steve is way up there. And honestly, I feel like Max is a close second, but I do think personally that Hopper and 11 are totally safe. They're going to make it back for season 5. And I think Mike is okay. And at first I thought Dustin was straight, but then I was like, if you take out Dustin, you're handicapping the entire crew. He's been really on top of knowing everything. He's a really important cog in the machine. But if you take him out, the group is devastated. They're losing a huge, the brain essentially of the crew. And I don't know. I just think that this could be, at first I did not think that at all. At first I thought Mike, Dustin, Hopper, 11, they will make it to the next season. And now I'm like, Dustin might not be on that list. It might just be Mike, 11, and Hopper. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm like I said, I'm not using evidence to back these things up. I am, but it's just the way writing works. But I'm like, oh wait, this character would work for that. Oh wait, this character would work for that. But now I'm thinking several are going to get taken out. We're going to get Infinity War. They're going to either Justin Foley us and they're going to take Steve, or they're going to take several characters, and this group is really going to be decimated when we come back for season 5. Because remember, in the last trailer we got, they were saying Hawkins will fall, and Robin says, and Robin's on that list too, she might bite it, and she says, but I really like the theory of her being a Russian spy, which still could possibly be a thing, but she says to Steve, what if we don't always win? And then you have Vecna saying some creepy ass shit, saying like, it's over for you guys. Your friends aren't gonna win this fight. So I'm like, I think that they're gonna lose. I think that they're gonna lose, and we're gonna have to come back in force in season 5 with revenge, like, on our minds, because we're like, oh, you took out this person, this person, this person, and I'm like, at first I thought we were gonna lose one major character, and now I'm like, we might lose a few. And at first I thought Dustin was safe, but now I'm like, no, that would really... You either have to get rid of Steve or Eddie, which I don't want. I love both of those characters. Or you have to get rid of Dustin to motivate those two characters. But yeah, tell me what you think. I just had this thought rewatching it. And so I put my hair in some crappy little buns. And we put on some... I like this color. I love this color makeup. It's from the Sailor Moon palette. But it reminds me of Easter eggs. So I just threw it on. And now we're talking about Stranger Things. But tell me who you think's going to die. Because now I'm really worried. I'm like, oh, no, it might be this one, it might be this one. And then we have Lucas fighting with those jocks who are very violent and angry in the trailer, so he's not safe. Like, there's nobody that I can think, besides 11, that I'm like, you're 100% safe. And I want to say Hopper is, but that's because why would you go through half a season trying to get him back if you were just going to off the character? That would make everything you did in the first half obsolete. So I think Hopper's safe. But I don't think Joyce is 100% safe. I think Will is a little shyster, but I'm still cheering for him. I feel bad for Will. I'm like, God, all he did was try to go home. The kid was just trying to go home. And he got stuck in this shit. I mean, it sucks, so I feel bad for Will, but at the same time, I'm like, you might be bad. And that's why I don't think any of the buyers are fully safe. But tell me who you think, because now I'm starting to think Dustin might be the one. They really might take him out, and I'm going to be pissed. But I'm Abby with MOTORCITYNERDS. Make sure you subscribe, comment, tell me what you think down below, because now I'm like, shit. I don't want any of these people to go, but they have to move the story forward. Are they going to Infinity War us? Are they going to wipe out a bunch of characters, and then we're going to have to come back and really want to beat the shit out of Vecna next season? I don't think they're going to beat him. If they do beat Vecna, the Mind Flayer is still going to be there. Something's still going to be there, right? But it's just like, shit, man, I don't want this to happen. I'm Abby. Comment, subscribe, share, copy the link. It helps me.